For today's video, we are going to be doing my April reading wrap-up and also books that I'm excited to read in May. If you're new here, my name is Gabrielle and I make bookish and lifestyle content, and I'm also an aspiring author. So grab yourself a drink and let's chat books. The first book that I read this month was Heavenly Bodies by Imani Erriu. And I was actually so excited to read this book, and I did really enjoy it, but there was just a bit in the middle that was a wee bit slow for me. It is about a girl who is destined to fall in love with a star, who are like the gods of this world. And she is not happy about it because the star is not nice. And through unfortunate circumstances, she has now become the queen of her kingdom, but she gets kidnapped by an enemy kingdom who wants to use her in their own selfish ways. Honestly, the enemies to lovers / reluctant allies to lovers was giving in this. I was really invested in the romance. There was just a part in the middle that kind of dragged, and it made me not want to pick up the book as much. However, the ending was incredible. There was plot twist after plot twist. I was like, what is happening here? Some of it I did guess, but there was other bits and I was like, wow, I did not see that coming. This is actually her debut novel and I'm so impressed. I would kill to have a debut novel as well thought out as this one. The world building was really good. It was all based on stars and like Greek mythology kind of. And they're my favourite kind of worlds. Basically, if anything's star themed, I'm going to read it. I think I ended up giving this one 4 stars just because I loved the world building, the romance. It was just a little bit slow in the middle. Then because I've been in a sort of slump, not really slump, but I've not been wanting to pick up my book as much as usual this month. I feel like it's just because I've been so busy. So I thought the cure was cowboy romances. And I had to catch up on the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lyla Sage. So I picked up the next one, which was Lost and Lassoed. I wasn't a fan of the first 2, but this one, it really stepped up. It's very similar vibes to Heartless, so single dad and nanny, and they don't like each other. So for that reason alone, I was already having a good time. These books are pretty short and it was so easy to read, and I loved the whole grumpy dynamic between the two of them. Honestly, at this point I was like, this is the best one of the series by far. I think I ended up giving it a 3.75 stars. I feel like I can't give any more than that just because it was like a short, cute romance. Then we moved on to Wild and Wrangled. And again, we really stepped up. Again, super short. This one was single mum, second chance, romance, friends to lovers. It was everything I don't like in a book, but it was amazing. I really enjoyed Dusty's character, who is the MMC in this. He was just so unique as a cowboy and I was so invested in their romance. We got flashbacks throughout this book, flashing back to when they were younger, when they were dating in high school. And I feel like I am just a sucker for a flashback. I love books that go back and forth between the past and the present, especially when I'm invested in finding out what happened between the two of them. I am so gutted that this was the last book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series because this was by far the best one in the series. I hope we get more books like this from Lyla because honestly, perfection. Then I went on to Fearless. This is just a reversible dust jacket on it. I have mixed feelings about it. I am not going to give it any spoilers because I understand a lot of people might have not got round to reading it yet. But I feel like the first 40-50% was very similar to the previous book. It was a lot of, why are we doing this again? It all makes sense at the end, but I feel like we could have gotten there quicker. And this one is also a lot longer than the other 2 books. However, I did enjoy the revelations and the plot twists that happened at the end of the book. However, again, the information that we got was quite full on, all in a short space of time. I feel like we got loads of dialogue of the explanation of everything that had ever happened in the whole series, all within maybe 50 pages of the book, which I understand we were wrapping it up, but it did feel a tiny bit rushed at the end. And also there was a few loose threads that I think is leading up to more books within this world. At least I hope so, because there's things that I need to know. But I do definitely think it's been set up for different series and maybe different parts of the world that was built in here. But I feel like Kai and Peyton's story has been wrapped up. Unfortunately, because I love Kai. I literally love Kai so much. I literally only read these books because of Kai Azar. He is he's incredible. I don't really have a star rating for Fearless yet because I really can't figure it out. I think I gave it 3.75 on Fable, but I still don't know if that's truly correct. I need to sit with it more. And then lastly of the month, I read Seeing Red, which is by Bailey Hannah. I read the first book in the Wells Ranch series last year and I loved it. So I was really excited to get into this. I go into all my books blind, so I didn't realise that this was pregnancy trope. That is not a spoiler. She's literally pregnant within the first 2 chapters. And I feel like I wouldn't have read it if I knew that it was pregnancy trope before going into it. Although there is a baby bottle on the cover, so I feel like I should have spotted that, but I just had my blinders on, clearly. But regardless, even though it was pregnancy trope, I actually really enjoyed it. We followed the relationship throughout the entire pregnancy, so it had the weeks of the pregnancy on the chapters. And I haven't read a book like that, probably because I do avoid pregnancy trope all the time. But it was actually so sweet seeing them together, figuring things out, and then seeing how it wrapped up at the end. It was actually so cute. I don't really have much more to say about that, but it was a good read. I think I gave it 3.5 stars in the end. Okay, and now onto the fun bit. These are books that I'm really excited to read in May. There's a lot of new releases coming out in May, which I'm so excited for. One has already came out. I thought it did come out in May, but it came out at the end of April, and it is Voice of the Ocean. This is a Little Mermaid retelling. I haven't looked into it too much because I don't want any spoilers. However, it's a mermaid book and I'm a sucker for a mermaid book, and I saw this a while ago, the cover, and I was like, that cover is stunning. Look at the cover. Isn't that just the most beautiful cover you've ever seen? I'm intrigued how closely it's going to follow The Little Mermaid, because I've read a Little Mermaid retelling before and it was pretty alternative to the story. It really didn't follow the whole prince scenario. So I'm intrigued to see what happens in this book. I have also pre-ordered 2 books through Waterstones for this month, but they don't come out until the end of the month. The first one being The Knight and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I was a huge fan of the Shepherd King duology last year, and honestly it was so unique, and I have been waiting for something from her since then, and I'm so excited that we have another duology coming. I've heard good things from people who have already read the arc of this book, and they say that it's got a bit of humour in it, which they weren't expecting, so I'm really intrigued to see what the characters are like, because One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns was so unique. I'm expecting even more uniqueness with this next one. And from the cover, I'm hoping it's going to be bodyguard trope. I don't know if that's just wishful thinking for me, but it kind of is giving bodyguard trope. Anyone who has read it, don't tell me. I literally want to be completely surprised. And then another book which I have pre-ordered is A Fate Forged in Fire by Hazel McBride. She is a fellow Scottish girly, and she has wrote this book where it has similar vibes to House of the Dragon, but we've got a lot of Celtic folklore in there. So I'm hoping it feels really Scottish, because a lot of folklore I have come to find out is actually from Scotland, so it would be really exciting to see an entire book filled with Scottish folklore. It makes me feel all patriotic, you know? So I'm really excited to get that. I don't think that comes out until the 25th of May. I feel like there's more coming out in May that I have completely missed. However, those are the ones that are on my radar. I will be away for most of May, so I've downloaded some easy reads that I'm hoping to get through while I'm away. I have downloaded books 5 and 6 of Zodiac Academy. However, those books are huge, so I don't know how much I'll get through them. But they're also easy reads, so it kind of is deceiving how big they are versus how long it takes you to read them. But I also downloaded a new one which has came across on all of my socials recently, and it is Direbound, and I believe this is a Deadly Trials where you bond with a direwolf. I have heard nothing but good things about this book. Everyone that I've seen that has read it has said it's a 5 stars, so I might get to that one. So we'll see. We'll see. So that is everything that I read in April and what I'm looking forward to in May. If you got to the end of this video, please comment your favourite book from the month of April and a book that you're excited for to read in May. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.